I bet many of you have heard of the Backrooms, but I bet many of you haven't heard of Vita Carnis. Much like the Backrooms, Vita Carnis is an analog horror series that is created by one person. This is a very, very well-made analog horror series with so many elements. I can't get enough of this. I think it's really well made, and sometimes, in some aspects, it's even better than the Backrooms. However, I do want to say that the Backrooms has better world building than Vita Carnis. However, I think Vita Carnis has a lot more lore and more exciting things that is happening in the series. Although it can be slow at times, I do think it's really well made. In my opinion, Vita Carnis is a little bit of a mix of the Mandela Catalog and the Walton Files. Now to get into the actual story of this analog horror series, because I assume you guys have been waiting for that for a while. Basically, there are these creatures called mimics, and the mimics can kind of look like people, although they have different features, longer hands, faces that look really uncanny and weird and just no. And basically these mimics try to kill you, and he's posted videos about how to avoid these creatures and how they try to disguise themselves as actual humans, which to me just sounds scary. In 1931, people discovered the Crawl, and the Crawl are basically some creatures that can be harmless, but they produce other creatures. And basically when they were introduced, there's also mimics, and basically 50 years later is when this series takes place. Now, people speculate that the government knows more than they are letting on to, because the government is very secretive about the appearance of these creatures. There is even a testing video of scientists putting neurotoxin into animals, such as dogs, rabbits, and deer. So, I believe that maybe this company called Nutrier Co. is ran by the government, because in this footage, it gets very weird very quickly. So, if it was ran by the government to maybe even brainwash people, to me that makes a lot of sense. Because basically the idea is it's like salt, you just add it and it makes everything taste better. So why don't you just use salt?
Modified recipe. There is now even more savory goodness.
So, as you can tell, very weird. To me, this is already a very weird scenario. As I've looked over and over, these creatures are everyday occurrences. The mimics that I was talking about that can blend into society and then you might see them sometimes, they are treated like grizzly bears or wolves or tigers. They're just an everyday thing that are on Earth, and you just gotta be prepared. To me, that would be like crazy. These are basically just aliens, and that's pretty weird to me. The other thing to mention too is it's not just the American government. No. In fact, it's actually all the governments in the world, because this took place right around World War II, which is kind of what happened, and people have theorized that something during World War II could have happened, so maybe Nazi aliens. If you have watched this far in the video, thank you so much, and please boop that like button really quickly. So you probably already figured out that Vita Carnis is Latin. So the meaning for Vita Carnis is the life of the flesh. To me, the flesh are these creatures, because if you look at some of these creatures, they are horrifying to look at. So I definitely believe that that's what this title is referring to. However, I would also like to say that these creatures only feed off of human flesh, meaning, to me at least, whoever created them must have used them for something, because they wouldn't just be attracted to human flesh without a reason. Someone didn't program it into them. One thing that I've thought of, but I don't believe is probably the answer to the whole series, is what if these aliens were created during World War II to stop the Germans during World War II? A story talking about how countries were willing to do whatever it took to win the war, even if that meant creating monsters that would eat human flesh, devour them, murder every last German, devour all the flesh until it was all gone. And the Allies covered it up and said they just showed up, and their failure to eradicate these creatures could be the demise of many people. So maybe the Germans may have lost the war, but the Allies lost the world. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to see me do an in-depth breakdown of all the Vita Carnis videos, please comment below. After that, please like and subscribe, and I hope you have an amazing day. Icy Icy, out.